back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Trish. I am an ambulatory wheelchair user, and I use this channel to share what my day-to-day life is like. Today's video was requested by someone in a recent comment of an older video. I am going to talk a little more about gastroparesis and how I manage it. Living with gastroparesis is not easy. There is not a lot of knowledge around the disease. There's not great treatment options, and it is hard to get diagnosed. If you are watching this and you don't know, gastroparesis is a decrease or lack of gastric mobility. So when you eat, typically your stomach will digest food, but if you have gastroparesis, it does not do that properly. It means that some people get really full or really sick after a few bites, and some people can't eat at all. It is a daily struggle, and it impacts every single aspect of my life. Before I talk about the ways I manage my gastroparesis, I do want to say nothing in this video is medical advice. I am just sharing my own life experiences. I also want to just share a little bit of my journey and how I came to be diagnosed. Since gastroparesis is still considered a rare disease, a lot of people struggle to get help until the symptoms are severe, so I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of the first things I noticed.
I now know that my gastroparesis is related to me having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but that is something I found out less than a year ago. So I was without answers as to its cause for a very long time. I first started really struggling when I was 20. I was just finishing up my student teaching, and I kept struggling with vomiting and pain. They found out that my gallbladder needed removed, and I had hoped that that would make it better, but it didn't. Less than 2 weeks after my surgery, I got back into the hospital because I still couldn't keep any food down. At that point, they suggested I might have a gastric motility problem, but since I couldn't keep food down to do a gastric emptying study, they just discharged me with no answers. This continued to be a problem on and off for 2 years. During that time, I got married and started a new job. I had gotten used to living with the symptoms, but then I got the H1N1 flu, and my health drastically declined. I did another video series that talks about that in more detail, and I'll link those in the comments. It took me 3 hospitals and several years to get an official diagnosis. Once I got that diagnosis, I got a feeding tube, but I didn't really have any other long-term treatment plan because there is no cure and very few viable treatment options. I eventually got to a surgeon who did what was considered an experimental surgery at the time to bypass my stomach, and it saved my life. I only found him because my mom had a friend who was his friend, so I can't imagine how many people don't make it because they don't have access to such care. I still have to use the strategies I'm going to talk about, and I still occasionally get hospitalized for complications. One of the most important things I've learned on this journey is the power of self-care. Taking care of yourself goes way beyond just managing symptoms. It's about nourishing your mind, body, and soul. When you are sick all the time, finding joy in little happy moments is super important. Another critical aspect is finding a treatment plan that works for you. From dietary changes to medications and even surgical options, there are various ways to manage gastroparesis. But remember, what works for one person might not work for another. It's all about finding what suits your body and lifestyle best. For me, surgery was the only option because I didn't respond to medication. I still do have to watch my diet though. Some foods that work well for me include applesauce, bananas, cooked veggies like carrots, green beans, and squash, white rice, poultry, fish, and tofu. I look for meat alternatives whenever possible when we go out to eat. I personally do not have an issue with gluten or dairy, but some people find that eliminating those can help. I really have to limit high-fat foods, raw veggies, and spicy foods. I do like all those things and can have an occasional treat, but keeping food soft and kind of bland really helps. Now let's talk about the emotional toll this condition takes. Living with a chronic illness can take a toll on your mental health. It's okay to feel frustrated, angry, and overwhelmed. It's also important to reach out for support when you need it, whether it's talking to a friend, joining a support group, or seeking professional help. There are resources available to help you navigate all these challenges.
If you are watching this video because you are currently living with gastroparesis, I want you to know you are strong, you are resilient, and you are not alone, even when it feels that way. I absolutely love the other videos I make on this channel. I love sharing wheelchair accessible travels. I love sharing fun food products I find, but these videos have special meaning to me. I am so thankful that I can use this platform to share things like this. Thank you so much for watching. That is all I have for you today, but I do this several times a week, so I will see you soon.